Okay, so if you watched my video adding in bases other than 10, you know that you can think in base 10, but you have to always be sure to write in the base that you're adding or subtracting in. So the same is going to be true here. So suppose, for example, I have the number 5, 3, 6 in base 7, and I want to subtract from that the number 4, 5 in base 7. Alright, so just like when we're adding and subtracting in base 10, sometimes we need to borrow when we subtract, and when we add, we saw that sometimes we need to carry. So whenever you have, for example here we have 6 minus 5, so we don't have to borrow. But if we go over to the next group here, we have 3 minus 4, and we're going to have to borrow. So we have to keep in mind again that we're in base 7. So for our 2-digit numbers, they have the 7's position and the 1's position. And remember that we can only use the symbol 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay, so again, do the subtraction as you would in base 10. Think base 10, but write base 7. So here we say 6 minus 5 is 1. Okay, 1 is a base 7 number. So all we have to do is write it down. Okay, now remember again that our answer is in base 7. All right, now here's where we're going to end up having to borrow. Okay, so we have 3 minus 4, I can't do it, so I'm going to have to borrow 1 here. So just like when we borrow in base 10, we're going to reduce this by 1, and we're going to put that 1 in front of this number. Now here's where it gets tricky. We see what looks to our eyes like a 13, but remember that's not a 13 because we are in base 7. It's 1 7 and 3 1s. So we have 1 7 and 3 1s, which is actually the number 10, right? So the numerals 1 3 represent the number 10. So that means what we're really doing here is we're going to take 10 and we're going to subtract 4. So when we take 10 and subtract 4, we get 6. 6 is a legitimate base 7 number, so we'll just put that down there. And then here we have 4 minus nothing is going to leave us with 4. So 5 3 6 base 7 minus 4 5 base 7 is 4 6 1 base 7. Let me give you another example. Suppose I have, we'll say, a base 9 number. So suppose I have the number 8 2 1 in base 9, and I want to subtract the number 3 7 5 in base 9. Okay, so again, remember base 9, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as our possible numbers. And our 2-digit numbers have a 9's position and a 1's position. So we come right off the bat here and we see I have to borrow. So I have 1 minus 5, I can't do it. So I'm going to borrow. So this is going to be a 1, and I'm going to put the 1 there. But now I have to remember that this 1 1 actually represents 1 9 and 1 1. So it actually represents the number 10. So what we have here is we have 10 minus 5. So 10 minus 5 is 6. Remember, our answer is in base 9, and since 6 is one of the digits we're allowed to use, we can simply write it down. All right, now we come up to the next column here and we have 1 minus 7. We're going to have to borrow again. So I'm going to borrow and I'm going to make this a 7 and I'm going to bring that 1 that I borrowed over here. So I have the 1, 1 again. All right, so we already saw that when I have 1, 9 and 1, 1, that's actually the number 10. So now I have here 10 take away 7 is 3. And 3 is a legitimate base 9 number, so we will write it down. And then finally we come here to 7 minus 3, and this can be done because 3 is less than 7, so 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 is a legitimate base 9 number, and so we write it down. And so now we've done it. 821 base 9 minus 375 base 9 is equal to 436 base 9. So again, the key is going to be to remember that you can think in base 10, but you have to write in whichever base you're adding or subtracting in. So here I can think in base 10, 6 minus 5 is 1, but I got to make sure that I write that number in base 7. So here, this is not a 13, it's a 1, 7, and 3 1s. So 1, 7, and 3 1s is 10. So I'm going to think 10 minus 4, which gives me 6. Okay, so see, remember you can think your numbers in base 10, but make sure that you know that everything that's written is written in the base, in base 7 or base 9 in these two examples.